When Eminem blew up at the end of the 90s, he arguably opened the doors of hip-hop for a plethora of white rappers. Of course, M is still the best and most famous, but he has been criticized by some factions for the sheer volume of less than average white rappers who have flooded the genre. Today, we are discussing the worst white rappers of all time. Stay where you are. First up, it's Macklemore. Benjamin Hammond Haggerty blew up a few years back with his global hit Thrift Shop, and whilst he has been credited for his songwriting skills by some, his ability as a bar-for-bar rapper is questionable. M said, "I think that there's very technical stuff that he does. He's a really good songwriter too. Conceptually, the stuff he does is pretty effing incredible. And whilst this seems like high praise indeed, he has been criticized by others for his beats, rhymes, and repetitive lyrics. He has also been criticized for his white privilege songs on 2 of his albums. Granted, he does delve into some issues which he should be credited for, such as the track Same Love, which tackles same-sex relationships. But the man is a walking contradiction. You only have to look at his social media channels for evidence of this. In Thrift Shop, he raps, $50 for a t-shirt, that's some ignorant I call that getting swindled and pimped. But his Instagram is full to the brim of posts with him rocking Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Come on now. Lil Xan is coming through now. Nope. Next up, we have Everlast. As frontman for House of Pain in the 1990s, Everlast was somewhat tolerated as a rapper, but never accepted. Real name Eric Schrody, he would soon split off from Hop and even had a highly publicized feud with Eminem in the late 90s, until he realized that M could actually rap and he was barking up the wrong tree. Marketing himself as the leader in Irish rap, the genre has never actually taken off, and neither should have Everlast's solo career. Since Jump Around debuted 30 years ago, Everlast has been living off the fruits of that particular tree and should give it up. We're talking Big Smo. Stay with us. A pioneer in a genre known as rural rap or hick hop, Big Smo has so far dropped 9 studio albums. Critics have said that 9 albums is too many. His style, according to country music website Rough Stock, blends rural, country themes and melodies with some rap elements, production, and vocal delivery. Of course, most hip-hop fans in the traditional sense have no interest in listening to this particular niche style of hip-hop. And in one funny review, it was decided that Big Smo's style was the actual love child of Kid Rock and Run DMC. Brilliant. Rolling Stone went even further on the rapper, claiming that his sound could be described as the same as if Run DMC's Walk This Way stomped out of Queens and ended up in the rural South. Dear me. What are your thoughts on Big Smo? Let us know below. Dirt Nasty is coming through next. Simon Rex, better known in some circles by his stage name, Dirt Nasty, actually began his career in the porn industry, whilst also working on music channel MTV. In 2005, he launched his rap career and has somewhat criminally released 9 studio albums to date. Forming the rap group Dyslexic Speed Readers, he had early success with the song My Blank. You can probably guess what the word might be. Here's a hint. It's another word for a man's genitalia. A regular collaborator with Southern hip-hop mogul Lil Jon, the pair actually had a song which featured in the Hollywood mega hit The Hangover, but as far as mainstream success goes, his career was limited. His basic beats and even more basic lyrics means Dirt Nasty has been consigned to basement bins of music stores across the land, even if he counts numerous actual hip-hop icons as collaborators, including Too Short and Warren G. What have you guys made of Dirt Nasty's body of work? We have Vanilla Ice coming through now. Stay with us. Okay, we concede Ice Ice Baby is a banger, but Robert Matthew Van Winkle has been living off of that one song for way too long now. In later years, Ice would move away from the old school hip-hop genre which made him famous, but it was his impact as one of the world's first ever solo white rappers which made him famous, and his solitary hit. After the hip-hop community realized he had only one hit, it was soon figured out what he was, a second-rate rapper who hit the jackpot with a fluke hit. Of course, the bass line had been stolen from Queen's mammoth hit Under Pressure, which proved he couldn't even claim that his biggest hit was all his own work. Vanilla Ice was later criticized for never hitting the heady heights of Ice Ice Baby, with some less than impressive works, and hasn't released a solo solo album in more than a decade, thankfully. What did you make of his big hit? ICP are coming up next. Stay tuned. Insane Clown Posse are better known in some circles for another highly publicized feud with fellow Detroit artist Eminem. But much like Everlast, these guys cannot hold a candle to Slim. They've been criticized in the past for their overly shocking narratives, painting a picture of their hometown that is much worse than it actually is. Of course, they have defended their sometimes bizarre lyrics and style, suggesting it is all just a gimmick and tongue-in-cheek. Regularly rapping about horrific themes such as necrophilia, murder, rape, and even cannibalism, these guys are really on the periphery of what is acceptable, even in a genre that is known to push the boundaries. I mean, it would help their cause to no end if they could actually produce a decent beat, but that hasn't happened in quite some time. Even on their better work like Boogie Woogie Woo, they've been accused of simply riffing off that slow, melodic West Coast style synonymous with the early 90s. Avoid. Next up, we have G-Eazy. Bay Area rapper G-Eazy has been accused in the past of gentrifying hip-hop, and whilst you would have to actually be good to be able to pull this off, we understand what critics mean. Gerald Earl Gillum actually started out as a record producer, but in 2008 decided to get behind the mic, dropping his debut album, The Epidemic LP. His 2014 album, These Things Happen, drew accusations of plagiarism, with critics suggesting he was trying to mimic his peers, such as Kendrick Lamar and Big Sean, too closely. Having dropped 6 albums so far, we are still waiting for a legitimate banger, and fear we will be for quite some time. What have you guys made of the career of G-Eazy? Let us know below. MC Paul Barman is joining us now. Of course, it's wrong to judge a book by its cover, but simply looking at Paul Barman will tell you basically all you need to know about his material. The New York Times called his work a surreal departure from the rap norm. However, we would say the summary is extremely kind. Barman has actually worked with some highly respectable artists, such as Deltron 3030, MF Doom, and Masta Ace, but we would possibly suggest that these artists have simply seen him as a gimmick. What do you guys think? Next, we're talking Asher Roth. Search Google for the name Asher Roth, and you will more than likely come across a picture of the artist in bed with a poster of Biggie Smalls on the wall watching over him. However, Roth's music is so far removed from the notorious B.I.G.'s that it's almost an insult to have his poster hanging up there. Roth has a song called I Love College, which coupled with his frat boy image killed his rap career as soon as it was launched. With less street cred than Cheddar Bob, Asher Roth embodies the white suburban kid pining for acceptance in a culture full to the brim of serious cats more than any other, and simply smacks of desperation. And finally, it's Machine Gun Kelly. Another white rapper desperate for Eminem's attention and acceptance, Machine Gun Kelly arguably has never made a big hit. Bizarrely, he has a pretty decent-sized cult following, granted, mostly made up of people who think pop rap is real hip-hop, but still. He cites artists like Guns N' Roses and Blink-182 as influences, which should tell you all you need to know about his style. He's also a recovering heroin addict, which of course he should be commended for, whilst also counting Megan Fox as his significant other. He has clearly done well out of convincing people he's a credible rapper, but don't be fooled, he really isn't at all. What do you think of MGK's career? As always, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to tune in again next time when we will be discussing all sorts of other cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a big favor by liking today's video, whilst also sharing it with any real hip-hop heads you might have lurking on those socials. Bye guys.